Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today, I want to deal with an issue, and we seem to keep coming back around to this, and this is the third time, and we've dealt with this before in the past. And we're going to talk about Tether, USDT stablecoin. Now, before I go any further, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions on that information. If you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the about section and comment section. Now, the first thing that I want to say is thank God for Tether and USDT. And I say that because in 2014 is when they launched their stablecoin. And their stablecoin has been used to help people all around the world to invest in the cryptocurrency. There's a lot of controversy with USDT, and there's been a lot of negative things that have been said ever since its startup. And there are some things that people have said that are questionable, they're not as transparent, and then now you have all these laws and regulations that are getting ready to take place that's going to force Tether to be more transparent and all that. And they are trying to get MiCA compliant. And that's what everybody's talking about. They're talking about, is Tether going to crash the markets? And this all started basically a long time ago. It's not just prophecy. You know, there's a lot of people that say, oh, they're evil and all this stuff, but they have been one of the backbones of cryptocurrency since 2014. And when it comes to prophecies, the first prophecy I remember about Tether was Robin Cunningham. You know, he doesn't even have a 10% fulfillment prophecy rate. And there's some people that have brought up old false prophecies, making it seem like that it's for this time period. And one of the things is that a lot of these old Tether prophecies came from people that are not even around anymore. And some of them have such a high failure rate. Why would you want to listen to somebody like that anyway? Or confirm or use them to confirm your dreams or visions or whatever. You know, and it's kind of funny because, you know, when Bitcoin came out, you know what I was hearing from Christians that stopped me from investing into Bitcoin? And that was, Bitcoin is part of the mark of the beast system. Bitcoin is evil. Where were the Christians standing up and investing into the crypto markets? Or better yet, why didn't God tell his church about Bitcoin before it came out and while it came out, while it was still cheap? Why didn't he tell his church that? It's only been since 2018 where prophecies, actually 2017, prophecies of dreams or visions of people having dreams about cryptocurrency was on the Z3 website. And I wish I would have came across it, but unfortunately I didn't. And I know there's a timing for everything, but why didn't God share with his church then? Why, when everything is so expensive than what it was compared to back between 2008 and all the way to, let's say, even to 2016? Why is it only especially these last few years, where you have a handful of prophets that have basically taken over the wealth transfer with their general prophecies? You know, and guess what? The same people that were prophesying about Tether were also prophesying about CZ and Binance and how all that stuff was going to fall. But you know what? People have made sacrifices so crypto could be the alternative to the current banking system. So what if CZ broke a few laws? Some of you guys are breaking laws right now. You're not supposed to be on any platform that's not registered with the United States, but some of you are, aren't you? People are going to make sacrifices for change. That's what USDT did. People recognized there was a need and they fulfilled it. And they helped bring the crypto industry to where it's at today. CZ did the same thing. So what if he muscled his way into a lot of these different countries? He was doing it for a reason, because he wanted to see people prosper. Unlike a lot of the Christians that you see today, where were they at 10 years ago? They were all telling you that the rapture was going to happen between 2010 and 2020. And the blood moons and all that stuff. You're still here, aren't you? But none of them had insight into cryptocurrency. And let me tell you about the original prophecies dealing with Tether, right? And these come from Christopher Harris. In the particular dreams, God confirms that everything's going to be okay with Tether. For those of you who know those prophecies, then you know that everything is going to be okay. Why would the original people give you these prophecies along with the flash crash and all that stuff and give you instructions in USDT And then all of a sudden you have these other people that are telling you to get out, cancel your orders, go into USDC and all that stuff. And so what if Tether gets delisted from the European Union? It's not the entire world. I'm hoping by the end of this year that they become compliant, but it may not happen for another month or two. And you got to remember, Tether is more than just Tether. They got Tether Alloy, Tether Euro, and all this stuff. It's like people want the markets to crash. You're looking for any reason for the markets to crash right now. And it's not the time. This whole thing with the wealth transfer and what God is doing, all he's doing is showing us what's going to happen in the future, just like he could have showed us in 2020, 2016, 2008. He wasn't sharing with the church all the different events that would take place that you could prosper with millions of dollars, except for Kim Clement. He was saying some things. I mean, even if Tether gets replaced, it's not going to make the markets fall apart. Just like when Kmart was the #1 store in the United States, right? Slowly but surely, you're closing down stores that weren't making as much money, right? That would be the same thing. Do you realize how many stablecoins are out there that are also facing delisting? Tether is the #1 stablecoin. And if they get replaced slowly, then that's fine. I don't think any business really lasts forever. So first of all, I just don't want people canceling their orders, because we've been through this several times. We went through this in 2021. We went through this, I think, maybe a couple of years after that, because you have these people who are claiming to hear from God, and then they have these dreams or visions, and then they're not even around anymore, or they don't even have a 10% fulfillment rate. And people react so quickly. And this is why you have to be careful who you listen to, because if you are using people who have a high failure rate when it comes to prophecy, guess what? I'm not going to listen to that person. If you keep mentioning Robin Cunningham, you keep mentioning other people's names that have gotten no financial prophecies right, but they're still out there prophesying, and when did we get to this point? Isn't falsely prophesying in God's name a sin? I mean, I guess it's okay to keep fornicating, right? If it's okay to keep lying on God's name, because it was punishable by death. You only had one chance. There were other things that were punishable by death. So is it okay for a preacher to be in one of those types of lifestyles that you were put to death? Is that okay? If lying on God's name is okay, then you have to make exceptions for other things too as well. Now, we are under grace, but we're not supposed to abuse our grace. But I mean, come on, people. If people are claiming to hear from God and they can't even get a 70% fulfillment rate, that's absolutely insane. And there are exceptions to the rules. When you first meet somebody and they make a prophecy that it can't be replicated, there's no way this person could have known, and there are situations that are like that. But look what has happened in the wealth transfer. Look what happened to WikiCat and all that other stuff. It's because you guys accept anybody. And there was a time I was like that too, but I've learned my lessons, and I'm a lot more stringent. And I'm just telling you, I could just be honest. Like, this person has 20 prophecies that he gave dates and time frames, and they didn't come to pass. And I won't call him a false prophet, but I'll say you shouldn't listen to him because he's not obviously not hearing from God. And then you guys still want to attack me. That means anybody on YouTube can be a prophet. That means the only qualifications to get recognized by the wealth transfer community is to create a YouTube channel, prophesy. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. It's okay. Just keep trying, and we'll still keep blessing you. We'll still keep supporting you financially and all that stuff. How can you support somebody who can't even get 10% right? Because he's only telling you what you want to hear. And it's easy to throw out prices. XRP is going to be at 500. H-bar is going to go up to $1.50. Anybody can do that. The world does it. Doesn't make them a prophet. And the other thing that I do want to bring up, you had a SEC that went after all these cryptocurrency companies. Why didn't they go after Tether? Why didn't the European Union go after Tether if they were so bad and evil? Oh yeah, they went after CZ. because CZ was giving opportunity to people all over the world to get into crypto, to change their life. And yet we have prophets saying he's Chinese and they're going to use Binance to crash the markets and all this stuff. And they were completely wrong. God had to show me this man made a sacrifice. He went to federal prison to bring wealth to the world. And it's not what some of you guys are doing out there. It's not a lot of these prophets or ministries that are doing out there. It's people that are in the world. Deuteronomy 18:21 and 22 clearly states that if a person claims that he has a word from the Lord, if it doesn't come to pass, it was not from the Lord. We understand people make mistakes, but don't come on YouTube making mistakes like Brandon Biggs did. He came on here making all these prophecies, and he's 0 for 13 on every single financial prophecy. Anybody could predict what was going to happen with Trump. They were doing it back in 2016. They were talking about it when he was talking about releasing the Epstein stuff. They were talking about him doing that then. The world was talking about it. The media talked about it. People on the liberal, the left side that were saying this is what should happen to DJT. He's got every single financial prophecy wrong. And that's how he gained his following, was prophesying the wealth transfer was going to happen in the spring of 2024, that the crypto markets and the stock market was going to take off in December of 23, and the wealth transfer would happen in the spring. And then now today, over the last few years, you have all these people bring new prophecies that go against the original prophecies. And you know what the difference is back then compared to now? The people making all these prophecies are nothing but YouTube prophets. And they're seeking fame and glory. And there's more reasons why people falsely prophesy. Because people want to be looked upon as God. Look at me, the pride. Look at me. I'm communicating with God because he's telling me when the wealth transfer is. And then you're getting all these followers. And then when it fails, and what the Christian community does, because this happens all the time, they cradle them and say, it's okay, maybe next time you'll get it right. And then they keep doing it over and over and over again. And then you guys make excuses about delays and all that other garbage that goes along with that. God does not operate like that. And if you think that some of these people who don't even have a 10% fulfillment rate on their prophecies, and these are supposed to be prophets of God, and they're prophets of Christianity, I wouldn't want to be a part of something like that. If you accept people who continue to lie on God, then you have to accept all the other sins that people are doing that had the same judgment, like when people were put to death. You have to accept them too. And there was a prophet out there that prophesied that Kamala Harris was going to win, actually a couple of them. And their prophecies failed, and guess what? They're still making videos, and people are like, oh, you're such a prophet. Thank you, prophetess. Remember, God took his own prophets out when they made a mistake. Now, you got to remember, folks, I told you that people were going to be coming, and they're going to be giving you different prophecies that go against what we already know. They've been doing it, and here we are again, the same thing. People, hold on. By the summer, if you've done everything you're supposed to do when it comes to investments in cryptocurrency, just like the world is, you're going to prosper too. You should already be prospering now. You just have to wait to cash out when things get a whole lot bigger. Anyways, folks, that is all that I have for this today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.